Hello everyone, Stick here. Today we're doing a cool video idea where I'm just trying to touch water as fast as possible in every single Halo FPS game. Huge shout out to Dallin Hazard. He is the one that inspired me to make this video. His was how fast you can touch grass, but I just decided to switch it up and do water instead. You may be asking yourself what kind of water constitutes touching water. Does rain count? Does ice count? Etc. So my rules to make it a little bit more challenging is it has to be standing water, or it has to be some sort of water source falling on you. For example, a waterfall. To make this video even more challenging, I also added the rule that you can't die while touching the water. So you can't like just jump off a cliff to touch some sort of water source or pond or something that's below a cliff. You can't do that. So you have to touch the water and survive. I did this challenge all on normal difficulty. To start this video off, we're going to start with Halo Combat Evolved. And a big disclaimer up front is that I started each Halo game with this tutorial and made sure I did it all full from the beginning. And continuing on through Pillar Bottom, there were no water pipes busted or anything on the ship. So I knew the next mission on Halo there would be some sort of water source I could get my hands on or step in or jump in. So went ahead and proceeded to the next mission. And my total time to touch water in Halo Combat Evolved was 8:33. This time I actually land smack dab in the middle of all the different Halo games.
Dropship inbound. They must be looking for survivors. I recommend immediate...
Halo 2 was a much different story. It was much longer, and the reason for this is because you gotta listen to Sergeant Johnson ramble after you do all your calibration on your suit and your aim and everything along those lines. Next, the Cairo Station mission is also much longer than the Pillar of Autumn, and there is no water in sight anywhere on the Cairo Station, so yep, you gotta watch the good old Malta explode and the Athens explode, and you work your way to the end, and you give the Covenant back their bomb, and you make your way to Outskirts, which has a beach. Once you start working your way through Outskirts, and I went ahead and used some speedrun strats to get there as quickly as possible, and after all was said and done, I was able to time in at 12:19. Halo 3 definitely holds the record for the fastest time. Basically, right after you spawn in and Master Chief recovers from the crash, you can just go straight forward to your crash pod and there's water there. So you can go ahead and just enjoy a really easy time of getting to water as fast as possible. But joke's on you, there's actually a puddle right behind you that actually has a quicker time, saves you 1 second. Halo 3 ODST was another long one. And the reason for that is because I made the rule that rain doesn't count. If rain did count, this would be a super fast one. But I wanted to challenge myself and see actually how long it was to stand in a pool of water. So to do this, it did take some time, unfortunately, because you have Mombasa Streets, and then you have the Target Plaza, then you go back to Mombasa Streets. So you have a lot of going back and forth, and unfortunately, in all the Mombasa Streets, at least of what you have unlocked right now, I could not find water. But despite this, I was kind of happy about it because I was able to listen to some good old Halo 3 ODST jazz while I was waiting for the next mission.
Oh no!
You have to wait until you get to Uplift Reserve, and there's a beach there at the beginning of the mission, so you can really quickly dart to the left and get a total time 12:24, which is 5 seconds slower than Halo 2. Halo Reach I was super excited for because I knew the mission started off with grass, and where there's grass there's usually water. So I just looked around in every single corner I could. In the first area I didn't find any. Unfortunately, I didn't find any water. But I went ahead and ran through. I was like, there's got to be water here somewhere. So I pressed on, sprinting as fast as I could. And honestly, a lot of players would probably miss this. But on the left, after you talk to the civilians, there's actually a pool of water there. And I found it and I was super excited. I was like, this isn't a bad time at all. Total time was 1:53. Halo 4 had a very similar start to Halo CE. You start off in a ship and you have to wait till the second mission to touch water. So you do some parkour that really doesn't belong in a Halo video game. And then you finally launch a rocket to destroy a Covenant cruiser, and then you get sucked into the planet. Once you have arrived at the planet, you go ahead and sprint as fast as you can directly towards the opening of the crashed ship, and once you are there, you can go ahead, like right before you pick up your Warthog, there's actually a little puddle there on the left. And honestly, this wasn't that bad of a time for Halo 4. Unfortunately, the ship mission does take some time, so I had a total time of 10:59. I'll be completely honest with you guys, Halo 5 is my least favorite campaign. I think it's miserable to play through. It's not even that fun at all. And this is kind of like the mission where I was like, okay, waterfalls count. I'm sorry, but waterfalls count. Because at the very beginning of the mission, there's waterfalls. And to be fair, we are standing on ice, so I'm just thinking, you know what? I'll make the waterfall count because I found one, and originally I wasn't going to make it count, but I went through the entire mission, couldn't find a pool of water anywhere. I was like 8 minutes in, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't put myself through that torture. So I was able to touch the waterfall and then finally use a thrust pack to get back onto land safely. My final time for Halo 5 was 42 seconds, and thankfully that's all it was. So Halo Infinite was actually the worst one, and by a landslide actually. Halo Infinite, the first few missions are very long and there's no water in sight. So a big disclaimer here as well is any time that I had control of the character is what I timed. So in this moment, I do have control. You have to like look around and do all the flashlight stuff here as well. So this is when I started the timer. And you go ahead and cutscenes like this, I did not time. But you go ahead and make the ship explode, and then you turn around, you see Esherum for the first time, and you're like, crap, I gotta listen to this guy like for the entire campaign. But you continue forward to continue to press on, and eventually you get to this stuff that kind of looks like a blue goo, and I was like, there's probably H2O in this, does this count? And you can kind of step in it for a second. It doesn't actually like kill you instantly, so I was like, maybe this counts. But I was like, nah, there's no guarantee that it's just straight up H2O. So I decided to press on with the campaign. The reason this takes so long is because you have to both find the weapon and fight your first boss, which on normal it's not too terrible. You can take them out pretty quickly, but it's just a lot of time that you add on and keep adding on. You finally reach the top and you open the big door, and at first it took me forever to find water because I was looking like all around the general vicinity of where I could, at least in the first part, and there is absolutely zero water in this first location. So you have to clear out all the enemies, which I used the tank gun to help me out with that. And you clear out all the enemies, and you finally get the Pelican to take you to another location. And once I was at that location, I knew there would be water somewhere. But to be fair, I didn't know where. I was looking at any low spot that I could. I decided in this moment to turn left and try and find any water in the low spots on the left. But that was a big mistake because there weren't any in that area. And I was like, I remember there being water somewhere near the tower. So I decided to go straight for the tower as quickly as possible, skipping all the fobs that I could try and save to get there as quickly as possible. And thankfully there was some water in the lower area next to the tower and in the valley kind of sort of ditch area. And total time was 30 minutes and 37 seconds. So these are the final times in the stacked list of the fastest and the slowest times to touch water. As you can see, Halo 3 and Halo Infinite are outliers in both areas, with most Halo campaigns falling in between the 8 to 12 minute mark. If you guys enjoyed today's video, feel free to like, subscribe. I do appreciate all the support, and more Halo videos will be coming, I can guarantee you that. Thanks for watching.